Hello, welcome again to Kanittha's Vegan Thai Kitchen, and we are here today with the chef on board. She's over to my side over here. I wanted to go ahead and do this short broadcast this evening for a preparation for this weekend's menu. The first one is going to be on the screen right there. You can see on the side. It's the Nutty Juicy Shroom Burger Empanada style. And this is based on the Plant Paradox book by Gundry. Now, instead of making it as a burger and putting it on 2 pieces of lettuce, like Dr. Gundry suggests or has in his book, we are going to now do this in an empanada style. Now we have 2 different versions. We have one that's a grain-free empanada covering, and the other one is a gluten-free one. So the grain would be rice, for instance, the rice flour in that one. The other one has more coconut flour. For those of you interested in either one or the other, you can see how that goes. So how do we begin? So let's go ahead and look at this. It says here, and we're going to be using a different kind of oil than that's suggested on here. We're using rice bran oil. But it says on here what you need. What do we need? We need 2 cups of walnuts. And you can see on here 2 cups of chopped mushrooms. 1 cup of chopped beets. Now we are doubling this, so we will see it twice as big as that there. 2 cloves of garlic, a half a cup of chopped red onion, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, sea salt, and cracked black pepper, half a cup of finely chopped fresh basil or sage, 2 tablespoons cassava or tapioca flour, 3 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, so we'll be using the rice bran oil. We might be using the avocado oil, if we'll see. And instead of the romaine lettuce, we have a special version with the empanada mix, and we're going to go ahead and show you how we have done that. And we can use avocado as well for the mayo version. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to put the walnuts, mushrooms, beets, garlic, half a cup of paprika, half a cup of onions, the paprika, the dried parsley, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of pepper in a food processor. So that's what we're going to do now. Now, before we get too far into it, we're going to see if we have any visitors on the screen. Let me go ahead and take a pause for a moment. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. So one of these screens needs to be the menu, what we're going by, and the other one will have to be looking at the table. So we'll be looking here in a moment. Now it's going to be hard because I need to have kind of both. So we will go ahead and we might do this modified. So let me grab one more item so it will help me. Now, as I speak, we can talk about why is it important to have a diet that's mostly vegan or plant-based or whole food plant-based. It's very important so we can have good health and longevity. Now, that's the premise of one of the books of Dr. Gundry, is the longevity paradox. This one is the more famous one, and a little older, the plant paradox. So, if we look at this book, we're going to go ahead and turn to this book, and we're going to look at the back, and we're going to look at the burger for the Shroom burger. Let's see here, 344 in this book. All right, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and look at what we've been doing with the walnuts. And over time, we've been doing some activation of the nuts. And how do we do that? Well, in a mason jar, we put the cup of walnuts. We put a half a teaspoon of sea salt, or kosher salt, that is. And then we soak that overnight. Now I've done 4 of these, and now we have been dehydrating them. Do we have to dehydrate them? Not necessarily. 105 is the choice number that I do. And what I'm going to go ahead and say is we don't have to dehydrate it if we're going to use them in a wet mixture, like the mixture that we'll have here in a moment. So let me go ahead and show you how this looks like. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to see on the screen there we go, our dehydrator. So right now we are probably into can't really see that very well, but 14 hours left out of 24. So that's been dehydrating for 10 hours. So let's just pause that, and I'm going to bring that over to the table. All right. Alright, so we're going to use this, and we will put this in the food processor. So let me go ahead and take the food processor apart here. Again, this is a live broadcast, and this is just somewhat of a trial run because we'll probably continue this at another time. Alright, so here we go. So we're going to put these walnuts. These are sprouted. No, not sprouted, but they are activated. And they actually look very good. In fact, I'm going to taste one of them. That warm nut is always good. Now, why do we activate the nuts? Well, we've talked about this before. We're trying to deactivate certain elements of anti-nutrients and increase and activate the enzymes more, and the absorbability and the digestibility of the nuts. So those of you who have some nut problems or nut sensitivity, this is one way to reduce those aspects. Now, certain nuts have phytates and need to be sprouted, for instance the almonds, and we would do that at another time. So we are throwing this all in the food processor. That's the first level, and now we are going to do level 2. Now it would be probably faster with 2 hands, but we have 1 hand on all right, looks like we have a second hand by the chef. No, that's okay, that's okay. All right, so almost through, and we would just pick off the edges. Give us 1 more minute. We have the cactus salad that we've done famously in the past. It's going on in the background, and we will probably be doing another pescatarian dish later on. For those who are flexitarian and pescatarian, we always like to do that as well for the omega-3s and for the other aspects that we can't get sometimes without supplementation. So I'm going to put that aside. So that that little nut sometimes gets caught in your throat, the dry nut. So next would be the mushrooms. Now, how many mushrooms do we need? Now, it here says 4 cups of chopped mushrooms, and we need to probably have 2 cups of chopped mushroom. We need to have 4 cups. So we will see about doing that shortly. All right. And while that's being prepared, I'm going to look at some other ones here to use. All right. Now let's see what we can do. I'm going to mix some of the spices. So that would be the paprika, the dried parsley, the sea salt, the cracked black pepper, and the now we have to have some basil. We have to have a cup of chopped basil. So that might have to come later on. So we'll see. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to do that next. So
you need basil.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to probably shift the screen here to looking below. So if I do that, I have to be careful. So with this, let's go ahead and continue on. And let's see here. Looks like we're going to get fresh basil coming up here. Now what's nice about this is that because it's using the beets, it looks like it is, well, Dr. Gundry says bleeding. So some people like that look in a burger. Well, I don't. But later on in the empanada, it's just beets in my mind. All right. So it says on here the ingredients. All right. There we go. All right, so I'm going to move away from that screen and we're going to go ahead and go to the camera. All right. So let's go to the camera and see if it's going to, that's why we had to start it several times because of the old technology that I'm using. But it seems to be okay if I just do it just right. All right, there we go. So as I turn the screen downward carefully, without dropping the camera, which we have done before, we'll adjust that as needed here in a moment. So I'm going to see if that looks okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so here we see the walnuts. Okay, so we've got the walnuts now, and we're looking at the dry ingredients. Now, what are the dry ingredients? Let's prepare. So, now one of the ones that I like to try here is the dried parsley. So it says here to have dried parsley, and let me see how much I have to have. A tablespoon of dried parsley. Would fresh parsley work? Sure, why not? So let me go ahead and grab the parsley. Now I have it kind of in a separate section because the missus don't really use parsley much. And this might not even be open. Okay, so we've got the parsley flakes. Let me see. Maybe we have another one that's already been open. Alright. I sometimes buy extra and then now I'm not going to claim speed on this video, alright, because we are just common folk. Okay, common folk. So this one here, I'm going to go ahead and use the measuring spoon for the dry contents, and it wants to we want to have the parsley, and it says 2 tablespoons. This was 1, but we're going to use 2. All right, so we're going to use the parsley. All right, so that's number 1 and number 2. Okay, so we got the dried parsley. Yay, we got one of the dry ingredients. Now the next dry ingredient that we're going to do is the let's see here, the 2 teaspoons of paprika. Now paprika, that one's a hard one to find in my kitchen because we don't really use it as much, but we use it on this recipe. There we go. So let's see if I can find that in the bin.
How much basil?
A cup of chopped basil. Yeah. So looking for the paprika, and sometimes we don't have paprika. I don't see it. So is there a substitute for paprika? We might have to find that. I don't see it. I don't see the paprika today. So let's look on the shelf. So maybe that is an ingredient that we have to go get. But I think it's so small that it's hot. It's burning over the edge there. Oh, there it is. It's there. Look at that.
I know.
All right, so here is the paprika. We'll go ahead and use the paprika. We've used the parsley, and now we're using the paprika. We're not advertising certain brands, but you can get whatever brand you choose here. So let me just open it up and see it's even opened. Nope. All these fresh ones that are not even open yet. So we're going to go ahead and open the paprika. And I think it said a teaspoon. We're going to use 2 teaspoons of paprika. And we're just keeping it separate for the moment because we might have to pause. Now because I have too big of a teaspoon, we're going to use half a teaspoon. All right, so we know that that is that. Let's see here, I want to make sure. A teaspoon, so we're going to put 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons, another half. And there we go. All right, so the next one here. All right. Let me just, yeah, there we go. The next, let's see what we'll have here, is the sea salt. Doesn't say how much on this one yet. And then the cracked black pepper. So it says on here what we want to put together. Let's see if I can find it again. All right, we've got the 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So it's going to go to 2/4 of a teaspoon, so it'll be 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, I think we're going to use we can use the Himalayan sea salt because we don't need it to be fresh. So let's do Himalayan because Dr. Gundry likes the Himalayan. Let's see here. Look at the Himalayan sea salt. Here it is. No, yeah. Here it is. Himalayan.
How much the red onion?
Let's see. I have to see. Here's another parsley that we already have. We opened it.
Maybe perfect being
Sea salt. Okay, let's see. Here is. I'm looking for the Himalayan sea salt.
How much the mushroom again?
Let's see. Here it is. 4 cups of chopped. Alright, so here is the Himalayan sea salt. So we're going to put 2/4 of a teaspoon of that. Okay. There we go. All right, next we're going to have 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. All right, so we're going to make it ground pepper. Let's see here. We're going to try to do the peppercorns. Peppercorns, 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 peppercorns. There we go.
Are you building what kind of mushroom?
No, I haven't. What kind is it?
Organic baby portobello.
Organic baby portobello mushrooms are being used. All right, so the mushrooms we need, the chopped mushrooms. What else we need? How much? What were you asking? The onions. First, okay, so it would be a cup of chopped red onion. Yeah, a cup.
Okay, then you chop the mushroom.
All right, so let's now put, not too fine, it's going to be grounded anyway. This is the pepper. It says here 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. 1/4, so 2/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. There we go. 1. I think we'll just use the whole thing. There we go. We got the pepper. And let's see what next. Parsley, paprika. Now, let's go with the dried parsley. All right. Walnut, mushrooms, beet, garlic. We have to have 2 cloves of garlic. Let me grab the garlic. 1, 2. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, keep it to me.
Okay.
Got it. Come.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got that going on now. And let's get the food processor blade in there. We need to have the blade. So let me get the blade first in here. Let me get this. This is good. Here, you're late. You're late. I need to put the blade in here. Let's see, here we go. The S blade, he said. All right. Hi, Eddie. It says, I like a little more pepper, please. Let's see.
Black pepper?
We might have the spicy pepper later on. That's probably what we'll do. All right, and hi, Crafty. All right, so, There we go. Yeah, let's go ahead. Well, let's just have it on a separate thing. Oh, that's okay. We'll just go ahead and put it on there. Garlic we go. There we go. I'm the cook, she's the chef. All right. So we got that. What else? We've got the red onion.
Okay, give me a red onion and a
We need just half a cup for the first part. What was that? What do you need?
red onion.
Oh, okay. So let me find the red onion. You. In the Tupperware. Where's the Tupperware? Oh. Red onion. Alright, this is novice hour. Sorry. Let's see here. Oh, here it is. Okay, there's a little bit of onion left.
None for me.
Let me see. Let me get my. Alright, let me see here.
I still have mine.
Alright, so we're going to go with the mushrooms. Okay, this is 2 cups right here. So. And then we're going with I need a half a cup for this first round. And later on I put the fresh nuts. I haven't done a live stream yet. Need to teach. Oh, yes. No problemo. Now, it matters if you're using multiple streams. If you want to have like multiple streams, you have to join like something like Restream. So you get YouTube. I've got Twitter going on now, Facebook, Twitch. And now if you're just YouTube, which I believe you are, YouTube alone has its own connection. Actually, maybe 2 would be like you could probably do through the phone. That's what I'm doing right now. And you can use, I use Stream Elements, I believe, one of the ones that I use for that. So, here's the mushrooms. Now, it looks like that's full already, so we might have to start churning. All right. Now, we need to have the beet, which is 2 cups of chopped red beet. So, we've got everything so far, I think, in here except for, yeah, just the beet. That's all we have left. All we got left here. So, now today is just the mixture inside. Later on, if we have the quick version, we'll use the empanada covering. We'll see how that goes. Oh, yes. She says, hello, Kanittha.
Hello, hello.
All right. Yeah, so she is in the back. There she is. And she says hello to the live stream. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the spices in there. We did the paprika, we did the parsley, the black pepper, sparse, sorry. We might add some later on to taste, and the sea salt. We have that all in there, and I think we'd used Himalayan salt. So we're going to just kind of like put that on the top there. And we're going to mix this mixture here in a moment once we put the 2 cups. Oh, we have the onions. Almost forgot. We have the onions that are, oh, I need to measure that. All right, so we're measuring the onions and seeing how much onions we have. I think we were wanting to have a 1/2 cup, and I think we've got more than enough. This is actually, let's see what we'll do. We'll say that this is a cup, so we're going to go ahead and take some of this out because we'll use the rest later.
Okay.
1/2 cup. There you go. Let's see. All right. That looks like a full food processor there. Okay. And then
The beet, how much?
the beet, we need 2 cups of chopped beets.
2 cups?
Uh-huh. And I'm trying to read here the onion. So if we need a cool cup, we should put a 1/2 cup. Here, we want the 1/4 of a cup. Let's see here. It says the 1/4 of it, so it's a 1/2 cup. Yeah, so we did that, 1/2 cup. All right, so that's going to be in the food processor. And we're going to come over to the food processor and we're going to start to pulse that now, and then we'll add the beets as we come along. And
There they are.
yeah, there we go. So
Move it.
okay, so we'll add in a moment here now. We don't have to have the fancy top to it, but since we've got it going here, might as well. Kind of in this corner here, but that's okay.
ย้ายนั่นไปทางนู้นก็ได้
All right. And we don't want to have it too juicy. We still want it to have that nutty aspect to it. And we're going to pulse and blend until blended but still chunky is the recommendation there.
Do basil.
All right.
Now you can try again.
All right, so we're going to have the other camera here showing the chopped beets, sacrificing our nice, beautiful cutting board to the redness of beets, but that's good, that's good. So, I'm still pulsing this. 2 cups of chopped beets. Let's see here, it says 1 cup chopped beets would be 2. All right, so let me see if this is still chunky enough.